So there's been a lot of noise lately about how, oh my God, the people who are getting stimulus checks and the people who are getting unemployment, they are taking advantage of the system. We have to go after the fat cats who are on the bottom of the economic ladder. I'm not kidding. This is a real argument that people are making. So Joe Biden felt the need to come out and respond to it. Take a look.
We're going to make it clear that anyone collecting unemployment who is offered a suitable job must take the job or lose their unemployment benefits. There are a few COVID-19 related exceptions so that people aren't forced to choose between their basic safety and a paycheck. But otherwise, that's the law. I know there's been a lot of discussion since Friday's report, that people are being paid to stay home rather than go to work. Well, we don't see much evidence of that. That is a major factor. We don't see that. Look, it's easy to say the line has been because of the generous unemployment benefits that it's a major factor in labor shortages. Americans want to work. Americans want to work. As my dad used to say, a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity, your place in the community, being able to look your kid in the eye and say everything's going to be okay. I think the people who claim Americans won't work, even if they find a good and fair opportunity, underestimate the American people. So we'll insist that the law is followed with respect to benefits, but we're not going to turn our backs on our fellow Americans.
So when I saw the tweet and the quote in the tweet, I was instantly pissed because the quote in the tweet was, anyone collecting unemployment who is offered a suitable job must take the job or lose their unemployment benefits. That was the quote. Then I watched the video and I was like, wait, he's sort of saying both things at the same time. So he says anyone collecting unemployment who's offered a suitable job must take the job or lose their unemployment benefits. But then he goes on to say, by the way, there's no evidence that's actually happening. So don't underestimate the American people because they're going to do the right thing. That's basically what he's saying. So as I'm watching, I'm like, well, what was the point of... He basically went out there to contradict himself. To say, we're going to force Americans collecting unemployment that if they're offered a suitable job, they have to take the job or lose their unemployment. So he says that. At the same time, he says, and that's not happening, so don't even worry about it. You sort of had to pick one, Joe. You sort of had to pick one argument or the other argument. There is a bit of a contradiction there. Now, so I went from angry at him to like a little less angry and more confused because he just contradicted himself. He said both things at the same time. But then I came full circle and was angry at him. And this is why. At the same time he was giving this speech, we got the news that the administration is going to work with states to enforce work search requirements. So I think he's going to try to do the thing that he said there. He's going to try to make it so that you have to take a suitable job or lose your unemployment benefits. But, I mean, listen, this opens Pandora's box. There's a big question here. Define a suitable job. How do you define a suitable job? Like, who are you to determine what is and isn't suitable as a job? What's the definition going to be? Don't understand it. I don't get it. But bottom line is this, man. We have been hearing that bitching and whining and moaning at worker shortage, worker shortage, worker shortage. Nonsense. Listen, I'm sure it's true. If you are collecting more in a stimulus check and unemployment, and even child tax credit maybe, if you're collecting more from that than you would at a job, you know what should happen? The people offering the job should raise their wages. If you incentivize people, then they will go back to work. But I'm not going to sit here and wag my finger at somebody who's probably already been working a long time. They've been in the workforce a long time. Probably didn't like their previous job. Probably were miserable. Now they have a stimulus check and some unemployment money and some money from the child tax credit. They have that, and then now they go out looking for a job. They find an equally shitty job or a worse job that pays them less than what they're currently getting. It's perfectly rational to say, I'm not going to take that job. But if you raise the pay, then maybe that person will take that job. So the people who you should be angry at are the employers who are not raising wages. That's who you should be angry at. Now, you want to say, hey, some of them can't afford it. Okay, fair enough. I'm sure some of them can't afford it. But many of them can. Many of them can. And they are choosing to pay way too little. And so, okay, you're fucking around and then you're going to find out, son. And people should make the rational decision. I'm not going to do that. But honestly, in the overwhelming majority of circumstances, this money is a lifeline for people. Whether it's the unemployment or the stimulus check or whatever, that money is a lifeline for people. They need it to afford baby formula and diapers and pay the light bill and the water bill. That's the case for most of these people. Because you already know this because you watched this show, but 80% of the country was already living paycheck to paycheck before COVID hit. Imagine how disastrous it is after. Wasn't there one thing we covered? It was like 50% of the country at one point needed the assistance of a food bank. And you're going to wag your finger at people? Force people to what? Take jobs for shittier pay? What kind of a system is this bullshit? No. Don't buy into the right-wing talking points. Don't buy into the right-wing talking points and pretend like they have a point. They don't have a point. They are being open and honest about the fact that they want to force people to work for less money. Imagine being open about that. I want to force you to take a job you don't want to take where you're going to be miserable and you're going to make less. Well, fuck off. You can't argue against that. Do you have no idea how politics works? I mean, they're giving you a fucking layup. So do the layup. What the fuck? This is ridiculous.